So I help entrepreneurs because a lot of times entrepreneurs psych themselves out. They get confronted, they don't have a team of people, they lack focus, they lack direction, whatever it is. So we take them, we help them create a 90-day goal, a reasonable goal, and we take them through this process to make sure that they put some sort of plan in place and get their support teams together and so on. Visualize 6 months from today. Where do you want to be? Where do you want your business, your career? What does that look like? June of this year. What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Hold on to that thought.
We only target kids from low-income communities. So particularly in New York, there's still so many communities where there's rampant poverty and also access not only to education but to loans to start a business, that sort of thing. So what we try to do is teach them, give them the tools where they can overcome these obstacles and really find it within themselves to really overcome all of these obstacles that they've been placed against. I mean, a lot of them, we've had a lot of homeless children who've gone through our programs, a lot of immigrant students who've come through the programs as well.
5 years out, I see myself probably proposing to my future wife. Also having maybe 1 or 2 schools in 2 different countries, inspiring as a motivational speaker, and seeing myself as somewhat of the next, one of the history makers in motivational speaking.
So I went to my mastermind group and I said, all right guys, I want to create an unreasonable goal. Not only do I don't want to walk again, I want to run 5 miles in Central Park in 90 days. And so the job of the group is to support me in that. So they looked at each other for a long moment and said, okay, we'll support you in that. So I began to train, and I got frustrated a lot. Every time I fell, every time I was ready to give up on my dream of running again, they were there supporting me, helping me deal with my obstacles. So 87 days later, I was in Central Park with 22 of my friends and family. This is one of them. And to my doctor's amazement, I ran my 5 miles. What it is a group of like-minded people that get together to support each other. The key is like-minded. So Ford would have people just like Ford in the way he thinks to help him solve problems, for example. So I learned about this and I was like, I want one of those. So I co-created a mastermind group.
So how do the soaring geese fly? They fly in a V formation. And why do they do that? Because the first goose cuts the air, makes it easier for the rest of them. And when he or she fatigues, drops back to the back of the line where it's easier to fly. And while that first goose is flying, everybody else supports and honks to cheer her on.
I remember his wonderful email that he sent to us.
About
I still have that.
Yeah, the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't have it anymore.
I still have it. I thought it was so brilliant.
So it was really all about support. And what was extraordinary for me was that there wasn't people in my industry, so it was people who could listen with a clean slate.
He came into the meeting one day, it was the first time, and he said, my goal is within 90 days, I'm going to do a 5K run in Central Park. We all looked at him like, this guy's freaking crazy. There's no way. I mean, he had to be held walking into the room. He was so unstable.
This group was really helpful in helping me stay focused. Because I remember when Rick and I were shutting down a company, and we were just like, because we had just put, 3 hardcore years into this business, and now it was just evaporating. You guys were just like, okay, with Rick and with me, boom, this is what you got to do. Rick, you know, if you have to drive cabs to make money, I remember you saying that to Rick.
And sell his
you have to, if you have to drive a cab to make money to pay your rent, do it. Don't be like, I'm too good to drive a cab.
As the mastermind group, what we help him is to create the game and hold him accountable. So once a week he came in and say, okay, this is what I do. I'm not winning, I cannot succeed. And he had meetings where, you know, he was down, he was saying there's no way I can do that. And, you know, there were setbacks, but, you know, basically he got a good support system, and at the end of the day it came from him.
I was attached to the idea that my book on getting paid
man.
to proofread would be published, and no publisher was interested in this book. And what came out of this 90-day game was, who needs a publisher for this? Why don't you just put it on the internet? When I knew nothing about the internet. So that's exactly, I think you...
Self-published it too.
And I self-published it, and then lo and behold, after paidtoproofread.com had enough traffic, the Wiley publishers, the publishers of the Dummy series, came to me and said, you're the expert, Sue, we need you to write this book. And it was that's how I started to learn about the power of the internet. And today, fast forward however many years later, all of my businesses are internet-based, and all of them generate residual income for me.
And I'll never forget him coming running down one of the lanes of Central Park. It wasn't a pretty picture, but it was beautiful because he was actually able to do it.
I've heard this dozens of times. You're going deaf, you might never be able to walk again, or you can't do this anymore. If it doesn't feel right, then I'll say, okay, thank you for sharing, and I'm going to go at it the way I'm going to go at it. If you're dealing with a physical challenge, and it doesn't have to be physical to your body, but if it's physical to your life or to your environment or whatever, you can choose how you're going to manage it, coming from here and here.
Listening to him was, was definitely inspiring, and I think, fear and logic unfortunately hamper a lot of what I personally want to do with my life and my career. So hearing him and him basically telling me that it's okay to suspend those things, and then once you have the main image of what you want your life to be, you can go back and figure out how to actually do it.
I'm deeply touched, and I'm so proud of my son that he achieved, and he continues to grow.
The spirit that brought Stefan business success is the same spirit that drives his will to achieve seemingly unattainable goals in his life, with forgiveness, compassion, and above all, determination.